Let's get it going. Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us today. Talk about maximizing hybrid work environment with powerful meetings. Very excited to be here. I'm Brian. It's nice to talk with you all. I'm the director of product at Poll Everywhere and helped lead the project to integrate Poll Everywhere with WebEx.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Devendra Kathuria. I am in the product management team for WebEx platform, the virtual platform ecosystem. And one of my key focus area is to build a framework that allows apps like Poll Everywhere to bring into WebEx ecosystem. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
And before we talk about kind of how your organization can use Poll Everywhere for WebEx to drive meaningful differences, we'll help establish kind of like the real challenges that we're all facing today as business leaders. So we'll take a look at the current state of hybrid work, a little bit of how it's changed technical processes, as well as the culture of work as we know it. From there, we'll get into how Poll Everywhere for WebEx can help you and your organization address the changing landscape, talk through and look at a few examples of specific activities that can help accomplish this. And finally, how this integration, these tools can help you drive a better hybrid work for the future. If you have any questions throughout the whole webinar, please feel free to drop them in the pinned Q&A activity that'll be on the right side of your screen directly within the WebEx app. And we'll talk through any of those questions at the end. You should see a tab that'll say Q&A, and it'll be accessible in the whole webinar. You can click on that to add questions. You can also upvote any questions from other folks that you want to make sure that get addressed. And lastly, we will record this session and be sharing it out afterwards.
All right, so let's do this. So what we will do is we are going to kick things off with an icebreaker, which we will be using the Poll Everywhere app within WebEx. Okay. So now, throughout the session, we are going to talk a lot about the meetings. So what we are curious to know is how many hours you guys spend in the meetings per week. Okay. So what you should see is a multiple choice activity popped up on your screen on the right panel. You should be able to respond from within that panel. You don't have to actually go somewhere else. Okay. And go ahead and select your response. We'll give you a minute or two to just make sure that you have enough time to respond to it. Now, as you are responding to it, this question may will come as a surprise to a few of you that how many hours you are actually when you do actual math, how many hours you are spending in the meetings per week, and then there's a realization that the meeting fatigue can be a real thing.
Absolutely. I know myself, I'm in that 8 plus, 19 or 20% of the rest of y'all. So
Yeah, I mean it's hard to believe that how much time we do end up spending, so in the meetings. We choose to ignore that.
it's a real chunk of time. All right, great. So mix there looks like 6 to 8 hours a week is a little bit of plurality, but nice mix. Plenty of hours here for folks, and I certainly understand. I'm right there with everybody. And similarly, we're also kind of interested in knowing, what your current work setup is. Are you working remotely, hybrid, 100% in person on site? Again, you'll see this right over there on the right side. And you can answer directly within WebEx on the side panel. Give everybody about a minute. And yeah, a lot of remote, lots and lots of hybrid. A few folks that are on site. Interesting. So it's glad folks are able to get back in the offense. Poll Everywhere, we're actually fully remote ourselves. You don't even have an office anymore. So that's where we're flying in. And but that remote and hybrid work, that's exactly what WebEx and Poll Everywhere is all about. Being able to kind of these sort of engagements, understand your audience, and learn a bit about them instead of just a one-way conversation.
Yeah, I think this similarly in WebEx also. I think we are somewhere between fully remote to going into the hybrid. So that's actually the trend we are seeing pretty much in overall Cisco too.
Good. All right. I think most folks are excited. Settling down. Hybrid for the win.
On that note, let's get into what's actually happening in the workplace today. Okay. So I think one thing which has happened in past 2.5 years is that people have realized that they want more flexibility to work in terms of when and where. And largely they want it in a more of a asynchronous fashion. Yes, meetings are good when you really want to talk to people live, but primarily, their intent is that, I want to really get my work done at my own convenience. That's what, a lot of people are coming from. Okay. So let's say, what we all know. Uh, Most people, when they are in the meetings, they are multitasking. And the fact is that if I am not presenting in this meeting, I would be multitasking. That's how our models of working has been. Okay, and now people, when they are actually in the meetings, and they it's very hard for presenters to get the full attention of everyone. Okay. And again, it's not that they don't want to, but there are so many things going on, so they just want to do the multitasking. Okay. Now, in some of the research, which I have seen recently, it says that the average human attention span has now decreased to 8.25 seconds. um, and we have multiple distractions already. Distractions attendee might see or more valuable than your meeting. Okay. At the same time, as we saw from the previous polls, that remote and hybrid work mean that the time that first of all, remote and hybrid work is increasing. But what's the downside of that is that the time what you have for the human interactions, or where you are actually talking to people in the hallway, that is now has is not nowhere there. Okay. So which means that the the time where you can actually make a connection, that's more finite and precious than ever. Okay. So attention is becoming now a crucial commodity. That basically means that the people used to, whatever the time you could spend the time with the people and make them feel more valued, included, seen, and purposeful. uh, that's now you have finite time to make this happen. So it is also becoming more significant because people are accepting and remaining in the job based on their connections to the people, brand, and value of the organizations. We hear a lot about equity and inclusion, okay? But this equity and inclusions are becoming more crucial in the hybrid and the remote settings. And no matter how much our organizations define our culture and stance on inclusion as, where it actually happens, first and foremost, is during the real time engagements. Okay. So, and because of this new shift to the hybrid work, with employees living all over the globe and working, in their own time zones and stuff, these real-time engagements, as and when they happen, they typically are the time what you spend in the real-time engagements only in that meetings. Okay, so this is where again the point where we are all need to focus on is that in these real-time engagements, how do we make sure that equity and inclusion is something which stays on top of our mind.
So the reality is meetings aren't going away. We ask these questions, hybrid, remote, in person, still have meetings, 6 to 8 hours, 8+ hours a week. But as leaders of meetings, all this means that there's a lot riding on the meetings we do have. We're spending a lot of time on them, a lot of money on them. And we need to make sure that these meetings, and we ask ourselves, are they advancing culture? Are they advancing diversity? Are they advancing our inclusion? Are these meetings relevant and engaging? Do they give everybody a voice? Are people coming away aligned and on the same page? Could the whole meeting just be an email? When you have focused attention, you want to know what the material is clicking. You might try a lot of things to scare people out of multitasking or trying to zone in and putting in some rules. Maybe it's post-meeting assessments, playing a little popcorn game, right? You cold call on them in real time. It still gives me heartbeats from when I was in school. It doesn't work. You have to make your meetings more tactical and interactive for every individual attendee to accomplish your goals. The question shouldn't be how do I make people engage, but rather how do I make the meeting more engaging? And we throw around the word engaged quite a bit. When we say engaged, what we mean is being present and interested, interacting and contributing, feeling a part of it, and leaving the meeting feeling like this was purposeful, worthwhile, that it served something. And that's where Poll Everywhere for WebEx comes in.
So we talked about, poll everywhere into meetings. So essentially, just taking a minute to really talk about how this is being powered. Okay. So what we had delivered is something called a embedded app framework. Okay. So with this framework, essentially, and why we have done that, this is again, as we have learned more and more that, we need to enable hybrid workforces. Okay. And which means that whenever these employees or users are in the meeting, how do we make these meetings more engaging, more interactive? Okay, so with the introduction of embedded app framework, we have apps like Poll Everywhere, and we have hundreds of these apps available in our ecosystem right now that really allow the users to bring these apps into the meetings, whether you are using something for the visual collaboration or you are using something for the polling. This all you can do using the embedded app framework. Okay, and why we are doing it, again, just to emphasize on that one, because we believe the future of work is definitely hybrid, and we have adapted to how teams work best and help create engaging experience that reach everyone.
And Poll for WebEx creates a seamless, interactive meeting experience for presenters and meeting attendees. WebEx's user-friendly design, inclusive communication features, combined with Poll Everywhere's ability to capture audience insight and feedback, allows organizations to host productive meetings without the fatigue of video conferencing. The embedded apps creates equal opportunity for attendees to engage with presenters and presentations themselves and help foster an inclusive environment for everybody involved. As a presenter, the benefit of launching Poll Everywhere directly within WebEx is that it gives you a better chance of interacting with everybody in the audience, no matter the size, uh, and even the people who sit in the back, so to speak, can still interact, and all the while audience members never have to leave the meeting room. It's all right here within WebEx. You don't have to switch around to other tools.
So let's, if you'd like to do is put these things on the context. So where do we actually use Poll Everywhere in a meeting? So we're going to talk about a range of applications that Poll Everywhere for WebEx offers. And then we're going to deep dive into a few and show examples of how this could benefit your team and organizations.
And considering the setting, we thought this would be another great opportunity to show you how the Poll Everywhere for WebEx app drives audience engagement during webinars and hybrid events like conferences or panels, where folks might either be tuning in from remote setting or it could be in person. So here, inserted a word cloud activity directly into my slides as presenter. I'm going to ask the audience, in case all of you, a question. Visualize this, quickly distill all responses from a large group. So in one word, how would you use Poll Everywhere for WebEx? I'll be on the right side again, the panel. I'll give everybody a couple minutes here. Enter one word, see how word cloud, which ones seem to aggregate up big. Awesome, engagement. That's one I was hoping for.
Mhm.
icebreakers. Yeah. I always love the word cloud. I could watch it all day. Right. And feedback, onboarding, absolutely. Heavily used in onboarding of new employees. That's always a great use case. Building community, certainly. Everyone feel a little bit part of it. Surveys, training, yeah, knowledge checks and training, always great use. Especially with the open-ended responses as well as multiple choice polls. Really good to make sure everyone's following along. Inclusion, thank you. Yes. Mhm. Cool. Yeah. Comprehension. Okay. So, a lot of kind of similar themes here. Talking with employees, talking with your customers, talking outside and building community, really trying to get that feedback and engagement and get everybody along and on the same page. So, exactly.
Yeah, I think a couple of things which we talk about the feedback and webinars. So that takes us to the next slide where we are going to talk about a specific use case, which is a company all hands. And most of us who are being used to these all hands, which at some point used to be all in person, but now it's all happening remote and virtual. So oftentimes, when as a presenter, when we want to get the feedback from the audience, so either we have been challenged to have so many questions or no questions at all. How many times has it happened that you have a dead drop silence after your executives open the meeting for Q&A and there is no one asking a question? And again, part of the reason is sometimes the microphones are muted, or unmute people in a meeting becomes a little bit difficult. And sometimes attendees, they do not want to distract from the presenter by asking questions in the chat. To mitigate all of these pain points, so with Poll Everywhere Q&A activity during or after a WebEx meeting and showcase questions in real time that your audience can upvote and downvote to get a sense of what questions are resonating most with your audience. Okay. So this is fantastic for facilitating authentic discussions and understanding what your organization actually want to address and accomplish. So by using this, large bit meetings can also become a two-way conversation, which are more productive, inclusive, and worthwhile for everyone involved, which again instill trust and motivation across the organization.
Yeah. And then during onboarding, training, team bonding for new employees, it's crucial to foster an environment that is both inclusive and engaging for folks. When virtual settings can be tricky, how do you ensure new employees are absorbing all that information? Because it can be overwhelming, while they still feel welcome and while they still feel excited to be there, that they can feel connected with their team or their new team. Fortunately, Poll Everywhere for WebEx has a number of activities that can help. So during training, onboarding, check-ins, you incorporate open-ended questions to sessions to get real-time feedback and questions about how a presentation or a training was and what we can improve and how you can improve them. Additionally, towards the end of a training or an onboarding session, you can help gamify the comprehension with a quiz, such as Poll Everywhere competitions, which incorporates a live leaderboard and a little bit of confetti to liven up your quiz. You can use this as a fun icebreaker with new employees. Ask funny multiple choice polls with images. Get to know your team better. You can transform a standard virtual happy hour into a more interactive bonding experience. These activities allow the audience to become part of the meeting themselves, creating a fun, inclusive environment while continuing to capture attention. We do this ourselves with every new employee at Poll Everywhere. Some of these icebreakers. And those are just a few ways that you can use Poll Everywhere for Webex app. There's lots of other opportunities to get creative with it and make it your own and make this work for yourselves and your needs. Leveraging technology to make your meetings more engaging is going to have a profound impact on your organization, especially in this era of rapid culture shift. As a presenter, you're giving yourself the opportunity to understand and engage your audience better. And at an organizational level, you're giving everyone the opportunity to feel heard, to feel included, and ingrained in the ecosystem of the team. When you understand your team and they understand you, you can intuitively build a better balance for synchronous and asynchronous work that suits the needs of your unique group. In Poll Everywhere for Webex, you're getting a tool that enables you to not only run better real-time meetings that capture and maintain the attention and foster more inclusive conversations, but also turn participant feedback into more actionable insights. All this is usable with any of your preferred deck development tools and is delivered on a platform with SOC 2 Type 2 and ISO certifications to ensure the security of your information. All right. We covered a lot today, so we're going to open this up to Q&A and the floor for any questions. These are from the pinned Q&A. You can also ask more. You can enter those questions in the Q&A tab or the pinned one. It's now active, and we'll see as they come up. Also, go ahead and vote on anyone that's already sent them in. We've got a good number of questions already. Give everybody a minute before we start answering. Still some movement. I'm gonna keep waiting.
Mm-hmm. Interesting set of questions.
Yeah. It's great. Well, why don't I go ahead and start with some of them? It looks like the top's beginning to settle out. Could I reuse Poll Everywhere questions or do I have to create new ones for each meeting event? So you can absolutely reuse Poll Everywhere questions. There's always an option to clear them, and that'll wipe it out, and you can reuse it in the next presentation. So there's no need to retype every single time. A lot of the idea here is that you can prep your questions, prepare your deck, and then you can ask and re-ask and reuse it. We also have shared activities so that you can kind of create a deck or a presentation and have multiple people, a whole train org or various people all present the same polls. So you can start asking the same questions and see how they compare and contrast across the group. Can I use Poll Everywhere in other meeting apps, specifically Teams? Yes, you can. Currently, WebEx is one of our premier ones, and what we're talking about today. We do have some integration with Microsoft Teams today. We are looking to expand that for a deeper integration for live meetings. And with any screen sharing software like this, you can always share the screen and have people, see the polls and respond just via a different device. Yes, it is. I've inserted Poll Everywhere in my PowerPoint slides. How are you doing it the way you have it within WebEx? Certainly. So the basic flow here is, we have PowerPoint integrations both for Mac and for Windows. So you'll kind of download our app or our plugin. From there, you will create the questions ahead of time, insert them into your PowerPoint deck. And then when you use a tool like WebEx, you just share your whole screen. And what it will work is you share your whole screen that shows the PowerPoint slides. You'll log in to the Poll Everywhere for WebEx app, and when you immediately get to one of the slides that has a polling question, that'll automatically activate, and we'll just kind of magically pop it right up on the side panel. How do I create a Poll Everywhere activity? Can I create it in the WebEx app or from the Poll Everywhere browser? Yes. So you can always create it from the Poll Everywhere browser or from within those Slideware integrations that I was referring to. Within the WebEx app, you do have ability there. It'll be a link. It actually opens up a little window, and then you can create new questions, and then it'll close back, and you'll be right back in WebEx. It's pretty smooth. Are those poll questions inside of PowerPoint? Or are you switching screens? A little bit as I was saying earlier, those are right within the slideware, right within PowerPoint. So we are not switching screens, although that is another way you can do it. You can create polls on the fly. Yes and no. Like, yes, you can. You can create them pretty quickly going in that window, clicking activate and go. You can also just have another window open or device, or if you have someone helping you out, they can create questions. And once it's active, it will just automatically show within WebEx. It'll show whatever the currently active poll is. We don't have a super quick 2-button click for a multiple choice poll, but it's definitely something that we're looking into down the line. What type of plan options are available for Poll Everywhere and WebEx? Vendor, I could use a break. Let's go with the WebEx plan.
Yes, yeah. So essentially, again, to clarify, Poll Everywhere as an app is available to all of WebEx customers. So as we have shown that when you go to Plus apps in your meetings pane, in the meeting control, you would see all the apps, and Poll Everywhere will be one of the apps. Now, to get started, you can start using Poll Everywhere as their freemium version. But at some point when you start liking it and you want to really go to a paid version, I believe, Brian, you will have some options available on the website in terms of the pricings, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So Poll Everywhere does have a free forever plan or version that'll be good up to 25 responses per question. So an audience side of 25 people, so smaller meetings. From there, we do have annual subscription plans that have more features, more responses for larger audiences, reporting features, more branding features, and that'll basically move up from $120 a year on our lowest plan. That's to $499 a year as on our higher teams plan. We also offer enterprise and organization-wide plans as well, so that you can have the whole organization use Poll Everywhere. I think I've mostly answered this one already. I want to just click out and see, but again, you build a deck ahead of time, and if you share the entire screen, then you will see the live chart visualization there within WebEx, and people can respond to whatever's currently active. Yeah, so what are some other activity types available? So today we showed word cloud, multiple choice polls, obviously. We also have ways to show donut charts, vertical bar charts, clickable image polls, multiple choice polls that are about images, so you can vote on specific images that are shown for answer options. We also have competitions I referred to a little bit. So you can kind of ask a live quiz, give people points, and kind of determine a winner. We also have surveys. So if you want to have a more self-paced activity, maybe that you're closing out with, or you want to open. So you can have people run through a lot of questions and then review the results afterwards. That's another option. Ranking polls are another one to force rank kind of which one would be the preferred option, um, as well as I think I mentioned clickable image polls, but that's one where you can show an image and have people click on a specific region or area, which is great for medical or use cases, or talking about looking at a chart and trying to analyze parts of a chart together, really all sorts of things. And the Q&A polls, of course.
Yes, so let me respond to that. So yes, so you can use Poll Everywhere from any of the devices, endpoints you are coming to join the WebEx meeting, whether it's from your web browser or mobile app. You should have an option, should see an option to respond to the polls.
Can you please provide a hand-on demo where we can see this run from a host stand-up? Trying to see if I can understand. Devinder, do you think maybe you could answer that in a little bit for like kind of how it looks for a host from a WebEx end?
Right. So basically, the question here is that, if I understand correctly, that they want to learn that if in the real meeting like this, how can I, I don't think we want to create a poll, but again, how can you launch it? So again, to clarify here, when we had a couple of questions at the beginning, icebreaker questions. So we actually leveraged this exactly the same thing that the moderator, they went to the plus apps within WebEx, and from there they selected Poll Everywhere, and now you have all the poll questions start coming up on the right pane. So it's a really straightforward. Again, I'm not sure if we can do in this meeting, but definitely it's something we can take it offline.
Yeah, agreed. It's really pretty simple.
Yeah.
Create the polls, make the deck, and you'll just log in, and it'll kind of automatically push it out to everybody in the audience. But we can follow with some materials, or you can contact support team, and I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, just want to add one more comment there. Now, if you are coming from an organization where you don't see when you actually log into your WebEx app, and you do not see Poll Everywhere as a app in the Plus apps, so by default, Poll Everywhere should be enabled for all of our customers, but we also provide a capability where your admins can go and disable that. Okay, so if you are not seeing that, there's a very good likelihood that your administrator have disabled it. So that's where I think you may want to reach out to your admins and make a request for them to enable it. Now, again, I'll also take this opportunity, because in the past we had some feedback that admins are interested in enabling these apps, but we only had an option to enable for everywhere in the org, or for everyone in the org, or for no one. But pretty recently, we have also launched another option where your admins can enable these apps for a group of users. So with that, the admins have more flexibility, where you like Poll Everywhere, but your admin feel that I don't want to enable for the whole org. They can still enable for a group of users, including yourself, and that way you can start using it.
What are the poll features you recommend for a public lecture? Anything beyond basic polls? Let's see. So for a public lecture, we do have a moderation feature, which especially if you have someone helping, or if it's a large lecture, I might recommend, or at least our automatic profanity filter could be good. Let's see, other things. Certainly if you're trying, or interested in kind of having some branding, a logo, or some colors related to your organization or university or company, to help emphasize, and drive home that branding. That could be another good series of features. Um, uh, but really, for public lectures, and what I encourage is just really kind of having, um, keeping that open, just making sure to emphasize that people can, respond quickly and easily. And the main thing I always recommend is just having a nice icebreaker at the very start, kind of a play question for people to get interested and get engaged and respond, so that then later, when you're asking more detailed questions, they're already familiar with kind of the tool and the process. What do the reports look like from WebEx and Poll Everywhere sessions? So on the Poll Everywhere side, you can run our reports um, on our paid plans for $79 a month and higher. Have reporting features. Before that, it's really just the live chart with screenshots, and then you can download into a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet. Um, on our paid versions that do have the reporting features, we can aggregate that into what we call an executive summary report, where we'll get a breakdown as well as some automatic screenshots for what each poll question looked like. We also have gradebook reports if you're using us for participation credit, attendance, professional certification. And with those, you can use that to actually kind of identify who is responding or asking questions. We also have our pivot table reports. If you really want to be able to break things down and segment, see how people responded across multiple questions and try to gain any insights there. Um, and all of our reports are also exportable to PDF or exportable to CSV and spreadsheets. Do you have solutions to creating a better networking like happy hours, but in the virtual setting? Not sure what features Poll Everywhere might have. I believe I just have a basic account. Um, so all of our plans and accounts come with all of our activity types. We don't charge on that. So what I usually recommend for a networking or happy hour, um, certainly our competitions feature. That's really one of the main uses, kind of using us for sort of like pub trivia or something like that, where you can determine a winner. I also recommend, word clouds or the clickable image polls. You can have some nice, fun images and have people click around on those as well. Is there a way to show correct answer in multiple choice questions and see the option? Yes, there is. We just didn't have a correct answer today. So correctness and grading is definitely part of the feature suite. Um, so you can always mark a correct answer. We're also working on weighted grading as well. You show the globe where people are in the company. How does it work? I'm speaking for Poll Everywhere. We have we are based primarily out of the San Francisco Bay Area, but we do have employees and folks that live everywhere. Brazil, Malaysia, the UK, Germany. We're certainly all over. Um, and we have kind of our core working hours for collaboration. Otherwise, we emphasize a lot of async work, pairing sessions from the engineering and product side, and um, just really trying to build that culture and get work done.
Just curious, is that a question more around, in an organization when I'm running some kind of a poll, does it show that, where people are in the company?
Perhaps maybe it's another way to take it.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just thinking that maybe, that's something, you could do with a word cloud. That's a typically an icebreaker where, you have a large event happening. You just do an icebreaker in terms of where the people are joining this meeting from. And then you can get the whole map of, where all these people are coming from.
Yep. We also have our clickable image polls. If you don't want to have them type it out, you can have a map of the world and just have people mark down on it where they are from. If I need help, is there a YouTube video or there support that can help me? Yes, from Poll Everywhere In, we certainly have our support articles, guides. I don't think we have a video. We might have to ask and see. Vinner, I'm sure.
Yeah, there is again, even on the WebEx side, we have good amount of collateral available onto help.webex.com. where you can see that how do you add an app into a meeting, how do you enable an app, how IT admin enables an app. So all these options are available. In addition to that, if you have any questions, there are you can always follow up, and then happy to answer any questions.
Is the 25 responses per activity, or can I reset the activity and gain additional 25 responses without creating a new activity? Sure, I think this is around kind of Poll Everywhere's licensing on that free plan. So that is 25 responses. We try to get it for that presentation. So it's when you're actively asking it. So you can clear that question out and then clear the responses and then ask it again for another 25 responses. You don't need to make a new activity each time. And that's how it works. So you'll activate it and you can get it up to 25 on that free plan. And then all of our paid plans come with at least 700 responses. Okay. I think I already addressed this one.
Yeah.
We want to click out and just see where we're at. Did we miss any? A lot of great questions today. Thanks, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was a question on does it work for all WebEx accounts? And the answer is yes. So whether you are doing a WebEx webinar or a WebEx meeting, so pretty much these options are available for all of those.
Let's see. Are questions anonymous? They can be. We do have an anonymous setting to make them completely anonymous where you can't tie back to folks. That's available on all plans. So again, going back a little bit at public lecture, if you want to really help encourage people to be honest and ask questions, anonymity is a great one.
Yeah. So again, the top two questions in terms of whether we need to enable Poll Everywhere app. So as I mentioned that, by default, this app should be enabled for you. That's our default posture, that apps are enabled by default. But in the situations where your admin have chosen to disable it, in that case, you will have to ask your IT admin to enable this app. Okay. The second question around whether it works with general WebEx account, the answer is yes. Pretty much, whether you have a paid account, free account, are you coming from an organization or you are an online account holder, it doesn't matter. These options are available to all account holders.
And can you moderate questions off screen so attendees don't see them? Sometimes questions come in that just aren't high priority or don't align or are not appropriate. The answer is yes. We do have a moderation feature that either the presenter or someone else on the account can moderate those questions before they come in and get shown to everybody. That does come with our paid plan. That's the $79 and above. We'll have that feature. Use Poll Everywhere asynchronously. Yes, you can. You can embed any of our questions into websites where we have shareable links that you can email out or send in, whatever chat tool you have. And our survey feature is built kind of explicitly for asynchronous. Is the paid version the one you integrate PowerPoint slides? So our slideware integrations for Windows and Mac PowerPoint, as well as Google Slides, are free companion apps. So that's available for any of our plans. Not quite able to do a full, prepare to do a full kind of PowerPoint demo today, but you can join our Getting Started webinar and we discuss it there in full. And we can share that link as well. I think it's every other Thursday.
Okay. So for this one, again, just want to clarify that once you download the WebEx app, if you sign in, so again, I want to also clarify that you would have to sign into WebEx, whether you are signing as a free user or a paid user, irrespective, but you have to sign in. Once you are signing in to the WebEx app, then in the meeting control, you should see plus apps on the bottom right. And if you double click on plus apps, you should be able to see Poll Everywhere there. Now, there are some cool capabilities. Actually, so for some of you who really like Poll Everywhere, I assume all of you, you can make it a favorite app. So if you make it favorite, it will always shows you in the My Apps. So that's an easy way for you to bring up Poll Everywhere in the subsequent meetings. Okay. Yeah. Again, so I just want to clarify. So you will not be able to see these plus apps if you are joining in from the browser. You would have to download the WebEx app, okay? And once you download the WebEx app and then you log into WebEx app to join this meeting, then you would be able to see plus apps. And again, we have help articles available, but in addition to that, if any of you have any questions, I think you can leave your email address and we can follow up with you guys.
All right. And you do not need to buy additional licenses.
Mm.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for asking all the interactive questions.
And yeah, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it and love the engagement and all the questions. Hopefully, everybody learned a little bit today.
Thank you.
Thank you all.